A couple of years ago, after dating for 1.5 years and thinking I was going to marry her, a girl completely ghosted me, leaving me in shambles and emotional distress. Last night was worse in every conceivable way. Watching UH lose in the Alamo Dome, there is not one part of that that is better than that experience I had. Welcome to the Moonstam Cast. I'm Jordan. I want to kill myself. This is Brian. He's also here.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, we both experienced loss in the last week. I lost my
No,
second dog in 6 months. So
way to fucking start out and just go like, maybe like, hey, I'm sad my basketball team lost. I got to watch it live. They lost by 2 whole points. And you're like, yeah, but I had a death. So I am just emotionally like
we're both hurting. I'm
we're
on the
both.
same level. National championship loss. Listen, man, I'm right there
Yeah,
with you.
not to downgrade Notre Dame's national championship loss, but by the second quarter, I think you knew. Okay, time is given up. By at least half, you're like, okay, you believe the entire
Halftime.
time.
Halftime was the give up because
Okay,
the
okay,
first because we spent the first almost entire first quarter. We did a 10-minute drive down
yeah,
the field for a touchdown, and it was just like, okay, this is great. There's going to be very little time on the clock, and then at halftime was when I was demoralized.
yeah. I had until the last second, or the last really 5 seconds. I had belief the entire game. Um, we're probably structured. My voice is cracking. I can't really talk. I got home like 4 hours ago and from San Antonio. I went to bed late last night, very late last night. Alamo Dome, by the way, shit stadium, horrible stadium. I don't really know what it is. It's kind of small. I think, which is the issue. Like the walkways are really narrow. So if you pack in, I think it was like 66,000 people. At some point, it just gets way too crowded. Uh, and then it felt too like there were just too many people for the space that it was. So I'd been to a football game there, and I don't remember it being that bad, but that was also like a UTSA versus UH college football game at the beginning of the season, and it wasn't that packed. So yeah, no, last night sucked horribly. Um, I for some reason I thought we were gonna lose the entire time because there was a guy next to me, like three people next to me, who was just way too loud and way too boisterous, way too vulgar as well. Like this is one of my hot takes. Don't go to a stadium and be vulgar because there are kids around. And like I understand you're passionate, but don't like call the guy in front of you a motherfucker. Or like don't start yelling like suck my dick, ref, as loudly as possible. I like to say, ref, wonderful job, or ref, I take back what I just said. But I am I don't really know
You're
what to
you're
say.
broken. You're
I am
broken.
I'm like
100%.
I'm
I understand
emotionally
that.
well. So last night I was numb. Last night, like within like maybe 2 to 3 minutes left, I was like, I just want this to be over. Like I can't take this anymore. The stress I'm feeling, I cannot take anymore. I need this to be over. So when it was over, I was like, I can breathe again. I don't have to work. I'm not stressed. Like I'm not feeling the blood rush from my body. Um, Now I can just like walk out the stadium, which also was really hard, as much as possible. Also, there's no parking at the stadium. It's a really shit stadium again. You're gonna hear me harp on this all night long. Alamo Dome, bad stadium. There was no parking at the stadium, so we had to. It worked out fine, but it's kind of dumb, a dumb thing. Um, but I was like, I can just walk out now. I can be done. I can leave. Um, but this morning I woke up and I was like, oh, this is the worst pain I've ever felt in every conceivable way, as I alluded to in the beginning of the pod. Um, I mean, I'm gonna have that last play running through my mind for years to come because I don't. I love Kelvin Sampson. I'll say that with all my heart. I don't know what happened in the last 10 minutes of that game. It was all high ball screens for. I mean, again, the last 10 minutes, even in the first half, it felt like he was just let's high ball screen them until they can't stop us, but they just could stop you the entire time. Um, it felt like Walter Clayton Jr. was just locking down. I mean, whether it was Uzan, whether it was Sharp, or whether it was Crier, he locked them all down completely. And it was a hard game to watch at that level because as much as I believe in UH's defense, their offense just could never get it going. I think we had something like, I mean, the last time I looked was 13 turnovers. I don't know what was after that. To their five. We couldn't stop fouling. And I think what happened was in the first half, there weren't many fouls. or like comparatively many fouls. And I imagine at halftime the ref said, "Hey, let's lock this down," because Florida got like 6 fouls within the first 3 minutes, and then just from there, it just felt like fouling never stopped. Even at like for like maybe the past 10 minutes, the last like there was a 5 minute stretch where it felt like every time Florida went down to their basket, like they got a foul, and I was just kind of losing my mind. Now again, y'all, the general public who weren't there, had the hindsight of like being able to watch it and see the foul. I was just like, I don't know if it's a good foul or a bad foul. I just know it's a foul, so I'm gonna boo. Now I imagine knowing UH, some of them were fouls, but it's just I don't know what the real perspective was. There are times when they show things, but sometimes they just show highlights instead. But that last, I mean, this is one of the wears I had coming into the season, which didn't ever come to fruition, but it was an issue. It was a scare I had, is that there's no guy. Like if you look at the Final Four, at least, if at the end of the game, if you're Duke, who do you want the ball? If you're down by 2, who do you want to give the ball to? Cooper Flag. If you're Auburn, you're down by 2, who do you want to give the ball to? Janai Broom. If you're Florida, you're down by 2, who do you want to give the ball to? You want to give it to Walter Clayton Jr. If you're UH, well, who do you give it to? Well, you have kind of 3 options, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, because then there's just this like no one knows who actually needs the ball. And Calvin just stood there quiet the entire time, and it felt like he just kind of gave up. Now maybe that's not true, but in the last like 10 minutes, it felt like UH just collapsed. Now, like when UH lost to Texas Tech, it felt maybe like a give back from the Duke game, because when UH lost to Texas Tech, they just beat Kansas maybe the game before, a couple games before, in double overtime, and it shouldn't have happened. This felt like kind of a get back, like, ball don't lie moment where, hey, you beat Duke, questionable foul maybe. Duke kind of let you have that. They choked. Okay, this is your choking moment. It is like devastating to watch. Like it was devastating because UH was up 12 at one point. They were up 12 at one point in the second half, and it felt good. But obviously, no lead is ever safe, especially in a national championship. There were way more Florida fans there than I thought there would be, and it was just I don't know. I was sad last night. I was sad last night, but I was like, I just want to get out of here. I'm hungry. I paid $50 for 2 beers. It was yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah. I hate stadium food prices. I literally think someone should legislate that at some point. But for 2 beers, it was $50. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's crazy. And then obviously the audacity to ask for a tip. And I'm like, you just gave me 2 beers. Like you did do nothing. Maybe I think tipping culture is a little too far.
No, I 100% agree.
Well,
that's one of my 2 big boomer takes. The other one is get your fucking QR code menus the hell out of here. Give me something physical to look at.
Well, we're running out of QR codes as well, right? There's a limited amount of QR codes left.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I saw a dog walker business in my neighborhood who had 4 QR codes. I want to come back and write I don't know, corrupt.
You're the problem.
You're the problem. Like we're running out of them. You can't use them all at one point. By the way, I just have Emmanuel Sharp crying next to me to remind me what I'm talking about. You can't switch to it, but I do have just the tweet of Emmanuel Sharp crying. So I mean. Probably you have a better perspective than I do about the game. As a neutral, you probably enjoyed the game. I imagine most Americans enjoyed the game in some capacity. UH didn't take a shot for the last minute and a half. There was no field goal attempt in the last minute and a half. It felt like it was a collapse at the end. Again, probably a great game. It was just in the stadium. I hated my life. I was nervous the entire. My stomach hurt the end. First half, I was like, I can get through the first half. As long as it's not like a 15-point difference. I think I can, at halftime, I can be okay. I can go see my friends. I can see everyone I've talked to, be like, hey, I'm going to the game. Because there were so many people I knew who were going to the game. There were so many people who I think went to the game. There were also just a lot of Florida fans, which annoyed me, which I get. It's the Final Four or the national championship, which I kind of hate that everything says Final Four. Because in my mind, I keep saying, I went to the Final Four. I'm like, no. I went to the national championship. But yeah, no, I just, it's bad stadium, bad vibes. The guy next to me was bad vibes, just like cussing and going crazy the entire, and just being a little, those guys who are just a little too boisterous, and you're like,
Mhm.
it's going to come back to bite you. And I can tell it is. Um, there were a couple guys in front of us who were cool, but it was overall really shit experience. And then after the game, when I'm like, I just want to get out of here. We go to the Riverwalk because we wanted to get like we had Ubered there, so we wanted to Uber out, but kind of walk away. So we walked towards the Riverwalk. And at some point, I think the UH buses passed us because they came out a little too quickly. So I think it was the UH bus. And I saw Florida fans doing like the dumb fucking chomp thing. Oh wow, oh, it's a gator. You're technically, according to the Catholic Church, your gator is a fish. You're a fan of fishes. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I just want to insult them. I mean, listen, Florida also played a great game. I can't even get mad. Florida played a great game. They came back at the end. Walter Clayton Jr. is going to go places. I don't know if he's going back. I don't know if he's going to the draft. I really don't know what his plans are. But we walked to the IHOP in the Riverwalk, and it was just a bunch of sad UH fans all by themselves. There's going to be like one Florida family. It was like a family with small children. They just played they were playing Easy by the Commodores at one point. I was like, this is probably the closest you can get to hell on earth, because everyone there was just depressed and sad. There were a couple of people who actually like worked for the NCAA, I imagine. They had like badges and stuff. But yeah, no, it was just a depressing night overall. Because I had hope until the end. That's the thing; it kills you at the end. Like there was no point where I felt safe. At the 12 points up, I was even like, I think there was 17 minutes, maybe 16, 15, something along those lines left. And I knew it was not going to go well. Even with the amount UH was rebounding, they just could not get shots to go at some point. So I don't know, Brian, what'd you see? Was it fun at home? Like,
Man, these the Final Four in the national championship sure made up for a pretty lackluster tournament, in my opinion. What crazy finishes! You unfortunately were on the end of both sides of the spectrum in a holy shit, how did we win this game last minute? We did it, to a oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. How did we lose this game? That's sports, baby. That's why we love it. Now, it's obviously you want to be on the other side, the good side of it at both times, but Houston fans for the past 96 hours have had the most up and down emotional spectrum I could ever imagine. I'm sure that it is what a crazy ride that y'all have had to do. And as a neutral, it was fucking awesome. Now I was actively rooting for you because I don't like Florida. I don't. I want one of us to walk away not as a loser, but instead, this podcast is now 0-2 in its inception to in national championships, which is not good.
or it's great for content.
Great for content. I would have rather this happened, this exact situation where we both lose national championships. I would have rathered it 2 or 3 years down the line when we have more content out and hopefully more followers and more subscribers and all that stuff and more people to laugh at us. But what a hell of a start. The only thing that could top this content wise would be if the Maple Leafs and Avalanche decide to play for the Stanley Cup and we're both actually in a championship game against each other. But man, dude, it was a fun game. The refs definitely played a part in the second half, and you definitely felt a vibe shift. But refs are going to be refs. It sucks being on the receiving end of that. Obviously, you fully get what we talked about not having automated refs. You get that. Fuck these refs. They helped cost us the game. You have that excuse in your back pocket. But that was a great ending. Not obviously the result you're looking for, but great 3 games to end March Madness. Compared to like I said, from a lackluster tournament up until that point. So it left a good taste in our mouth and not a bad taste in our mouth. But the college basketball season has come to a close, and they could not have scripted a more entertaining ending to these games.
Sure, but like it'd be really cool if like a 12 seed had been there instead. That would have been really cool.
As Houston being in the national championship, of course you would rather play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you're talking about how great. Like the thing is, it probably was a great tournament at the end there. I just want to fucking kill myself. I hate this so much. It hurts. Like I woke up this morning. Listen, I went to stat school for 8 years. 8 years, tons of money paid, classes, late nights, all that stuff. And they're still finding new ways to break my heart and break my spirit. And they did it perfectly last night. That hurt like a motherfucker. Like I woke up today, I was like, oh, like yesterday I was exhausted. Today I'm just like, oh, this really fucking sucks. Because that's the thing is, so the next time the whole point of this like wonderful experience was, UH is in the national championship. They're good. They can shoot finally. And also it's within driving distance. So a lot of UH fans can come. The next national championship in Texas is 2030 in North Dallas. Just at, AT&T Stadium. It's just never gonna happen again. That fucking sucks. It was one of those things where like I wanted so badly to believe. I've had one moment of happiness today when I listened to Upside Down by Jack Johnson. I was like, you know what? Everything will be okay. I think I made a meme and posted that like, is the cure to your team losing a national championship Upside Down by Jack Johnson? It actually might be. I have also created a theory that I think the Rizzler should be forced to go to every like big sports game. So the losing side can be like, you know what? That did suck, but gosh, at least I got to see the Rizzler. And like that would actually make it better for me. Like I would have been like, you know what? Not a wasted trip. I see the money I spent, I see the hours I wasted, I see the time I took off work, and I go, damn, it wasn't worth it. But if the Rizzler was there, I'd be like, you know what? Like at least I got to see that little fella. I hope he's doing well.
Can I be completely honest with you about something?
Yeah.
Halfway through halftime, about halfway through halftime, about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, about 10 minutes into halftime, I knew U of H was going to lose that game because the first picture of Senator Ted Cruz was at the game, was posted, and I saw it, and I went, it's over. It's done. If he is at a sporting event for a Texas team, it's done. It's over. They're going to lose. As soon as I saw that, I went, oh, fuck. And lo and behold, it continues. I don't understand. Imagine an entire state sports fans just begging for this one guy. Do not show up to my fucking stadium, field, diamond, whatever. Stay the fuck away from me. And yet it just continues to happen. It's honestly impressive. I need to private jet track from now on whenever he's like, oh, he's in town and there's a big game, to just go heavy on the opposite side.
Here's what annoys me the most about the situation. And say what you want about Ted Cruz. He gives a shit. This isn't politics podcast. This is the dumb sports podcast. He didn't even fucking go to UH. Nor did he go to UT. Nor did he go to A&M. He went to like fucking Harvard or something. It's like, go home. Go home. I don't know.
Off.
Go. I'm not gonna say that because you'd have to cut it. But like, go home. Fuck off. Go to Cancun. Like, do whatever you need to do. That's not being here, because I saw that after the game. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, I know you live in Houston, but you do not care about the University of Houston. You do not care about the basketball team once. All right. You went to Harvard. Actually go support A&M. Go to A&M games. That's okay. I support that fully. Go as many A&M games as you want, but please don't go to this game. It was just, and that's the thing. The second half looked worse in every way. So I don't know, man. The thing is, I did get to see about 12% of the world's blimps yesterday. So that was a big day for me.
Nice.
I got to see 3 blimps, and that's pretty huge. I was gonna come on this podcast today and be like, I could have died on the way home and been happy if UH had won. Not true. But if I died on the way home, I'd be like, at least I got to see 3 blimps. I got to see like 50% of the world's blimps. Would the Rizzler have made it better? Yes. I come in like, gosh, yeah, at least I got to see that little fella. Also, I did see Cal McNair. Cal McNair was there. Yeah. Cal McNair was just walking around. I was with a friend of mine. I kind of like looked up. I was like, I had to do a double take. I'm like, how do I know that guy? I was like, is that Cal McNair? And I pointed at my friend. I was like, is that Cal McNair? Yeah, he was just walking around. So I don't know. Hopefully he had a good time as well. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, no. Realistically, the basketball season is like it was a good season for UH. It was a great season for UH. I know some people said they weren't going to do well, maybe because they didn't have like the guy. I think my peer without having a guy was this exact situation where you're going into a big game. You have one, if 20 seconds left, you need a guy to make a shot. Well, you need a guy there. That's kind of the. I mean, maybe the Lakers don't have that where they can go to Luka or LeBron. I don't, whichever one they want, but you need a guy to make that shot or like take that shot who feels like he can make it. And I feel like UH just didn't have that guy, which again, it didn't matter for most of the season. It was just this one exact situation where you need someone. And I don't know if Kelvin didn't drop a play. I don't know. High ball screens are going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I'm never going to look at a high ball screen again the same. So it was a fun season. It was and I said I think I said last week it was a 6 out of 10 tournament. I want to make something clear. I use the 10-point scale as it is intended. Okay, everyone says like 7 is average. That's not how it works.
I 100% agree.
It's 5.
People that are like it's a 7. Oh, it's trap. No, it makes no sense. The like when a lot of people out there rate something out of 10. I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are never used. If it's 6, it's horseshit. It's garbage. It's terrible. 6 is above average.
Yeah. No, so I mean, I think these past 3 games made it like an 8 out of 10 because you had some great memorable moments. It just, I love national championships and I love sports. It's way less cool when your team's involved in a big game. Like at least with like baseball with the Astros, you get 7 of them. Game 1 and 2, and maybe even 3, you can kind of just like be like, this is going to be a good game of basketball or baseball. It's a 1 game thing, you got to just like hurt. And
so would you be an advocate to adding the national championship be a best of 3?
Not ever. Never.
Okay.
Never.
Because I completely agree with no. It should be a 1 and done. That's that's March. That's the point.
Yeah. Part of me also doesn't like playoff series. I'd personally maybe like one game. But
I think baseball is the only. Well, baseball and basketball it makes sense. In hockey, we're about to experience, but baseball you have to because you have starting pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, part of me just thinks it's like, I don't know, it'd be way cooler if it's 1 game. Now, I say that without having to face any consequences yet in my own mind. Like, of course, the Astros will win every single one-off game, as they do poorly this year. I don't know.
Real bad. It's real bad, Jordan.
I've told you before this. I did not really prepare for this podcast. My podcast today was like, I may blow
depression.
I may just like stop talking at some point. The thing is, I just talk too much. So my depression is over talking and oversharing. But yeah,
do you have any last thoughts on the college basketball season overall?
It was honestly a really good season. We had like a lot of St. John's coming not out of nowhere, but like St. John's coming in and just really doing that well. I do think Kentucky being Cal, Arkansas being a Cinderella in the tournament was kind of cool, just given that Cal can coach, but also Cal loses games. The SEC, say what I want about it, they had some great games this season. Say what you want about the ACC, but Duke was a powerhouse. Like they literally, their one flaw really was they never faced a late game situation like they had against UH. Also, I saw some stats like every single Duke game the entire season, the first team to 69 won. Really cool. I do think like UH keeping Florida to 65 it says a lot about their defense.
That's my one last thought was that defensively Houston played amazingly. It was incredible. I think the whole game they played incredible defensively outside of the last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But man, what a defensive effort.
Yeah. It's gonna get over it. Like I'm gonna get over it. Obviously, it's gonna be sad. I mean, I'm gonna play the game back in my mind probably 1,000 times over the next year. It's hard to get. March Madness is really difficult to win. If UH had won last night, it would have been the most difficult path to the championship I think ever. So they played a 16-8, who should have been like a 3 or 4, a 4, a 2, a 1, and then another 1. which is just, I mean, theoretically, it's the hardest path you can go
It's the hardest
through.
path for a one seed to go
seed,
through.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, that sucked. Don't know if I ever want to do that again. I mean, I will want to do that again. I'd rather win by 20. But I think I saw like Rothstein naming off all the scores of national championships since he was born. And I like by game 3 where it was like 1 point difference, I was like, it's gonna be a hard night, isn't it? And it was a hard night as well. I want to get some Final Four merch, but I told myself I will buy it after the game if UH wins. And obviously I did not buy any merch after the game. Also Riverwalk. I mean, I've been there before, subpar. They have a Margaritaville there I wanted to go to because I don't know. I like stupid chain restaurants like that, like the Rainforest Cafe. Really stupid chain.
Need to go.
We do need to go. I will. We need. Yeah, we'll go sometime. But yeah, no, I'm just like, I'll get over it. I'm really not looking forward to having to go into work and be like, oh, but hey, how was the game? I'm like, no, I don't care what you have to say. Like, you've never watched college basketball. Please don't talk to me about this. Or like, oh, was your trip to San Antonio fun? No, it wasn't. No.
It was, no.
Like, the thing is, everyone who in my life keeps asking me, like, oh, at least you had fun in San Antonio. At least you got to go. I was like, who gives a shit?
Fuck off.
There was like this game they played. It was like with the DJ who, they should not have DJs at these sports. Like, I don't need to hear a DJ talk to me during a TV timeout. I need to stress. All right. Also, there's no signal in that stadium at all, so I could not get text messages from people. And so it was like, is fun at the Final Four guaranteed or not guaranteed? Everyone was saying guaranteed, you're gonna have fun. I was like, no, you're not. Like, if your team loses, like if your team loses, it's the worst thing in the world. If your team wins, it's the most fun thing. It's high risk, high reward. I will say there was a point last night where I remembered we're all fans together. We're all just one kind of people, except for certain others, and we'll talk about the others. They were doing a thing called show your team colors, and you had Houston fans, you had Florida fans, and you could cheers, and then they showed a Duke fan, and everyone booed. The entire stadium booed. I was like, you know what? We all can come together and do one thing, and that's hate Duke.
Maybe that's the secret to America uniting.
Yeah.
It's just President Trump standing at the very end of a press conference just being like, fuck Duke.
Like that,
and then walking off.
That John Shire fellow. Just don't like him that much.
He'll never be Coach K.
If Coach K, actually put Coach K on a terrorist watch list. Like, do it now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Unite the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Make him an enemy of the state. He put him on the axis of evil, as he should have been for many years. But, it was that was kind of one of the moments I go, you know what? Win or lose, we can all hate Duke together. I think also like a Duke fans start getting a little chatty outside. Someone's like, stop. We don't want to hear from you. There were Auburn fans there as well. So I kind of felt badly for them because they probably bought their ticket and we're just like, well, we're going to see Auburn hopefully. And then it just didn't happen.
They're already in town because of the Final Four and everything. They're just like, well, might as well go to the national championship.
I have tickets. It'll be a good game.
Which as a neutral, I'm sure that was a great game to go to.
Yeah. Again, as a neutral, probably a fantastic game. It was just one of the most stressful moments of my life. One day I hope to have a child with my wife, who, I don't have a wife, but hopefully I'm with a wife. And I'm pretty sure like having a baby is stressful and like all that stuff is stressful. I don't know if it's going to top. I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to top this. I remember when I was in wrestling, there was like a quote that was like, once you go through wrestling practice, everything else in life is easy. Sure, whatever. Once you go through a national championship with your team in it, and that comes down to the last possession, everything else in life is easy. I'm like, oh, I can do anything now because I wish I had an Apple Watch. I would have loved to see my heart rate. It was probably in the 200s. I'm not kidding. So yeah, that hurt. It's nice. It's cathartic to talk this out at least. I got to smile again. The only thing that has helped this today was Upside Down by Jack Johnson. So thanks, Jack Johnson, for that. Your song lives eternally. I'm gonna have to go listen to it 10 more times today, and while I cry. So that's all from me. I don't know if you have any last thoughts or if you're ready to move on.
No, it was a fun tournament. It was a really, really fun tournament. I'm just excited for next year. I'm definitely going to spend more time with college basketball next year. Pre-tournament, I watched a lot in 2025, but I didn't really touch it at all at the beginning in 2024. So I'm going to make sure to watch at the beginning of the season too, because this really ignited that, man, this is my favorite way to watch basketball. It really is. Speaking of basketball, though, the Rockets are really, really good. Holy shit. Now, I still think we're going to be a second round exit because of inexperience. But, yeah, second round exit. We're real young. And that's my thoughts on it. Sagoon is incredible. Jalen Green's incredible. I'm glad we have them both locked down for a while. Wow, this is going to be a quick podcast, man. It's going to be a quick one. And that's okay. That's okay. That was the main focus, and we spent almost half an hour on it, and that's what we wanted.
We'll just be like Musab Cast 39. Jordan hates his life and UH lost, or UH lost.
That's probably what the title's going to be.
Yeah, you can't say the other thing, which is Jordan wants to kill himself.
Yeah. All I have after that is just a little bit of baseball and a little bit of NHL. I assume you don't have your Maple Leaf stuff.
Yeah, I imagine they're doing something. I don't know. I saw that something happened. I don't know. I can't be fucking bothered.
Ovechkin got the record.
I saw that though.
Ovechkin got the record.
I saw, and it was on a pretty cool goal. That was a cool goal to get it on. Like,
oh yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna say half ice, half court,
third ice. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the.
Yeah, I don't. But that was a cool shot, and I did like the celebration afterwards. It's really cool to see Gretzky there as well. Talking up Ovechkin and kind of passing the flowers onto him. When you see like in the NBA, it's like, oh, I would kill everyone in this league right now. Or it's like the debate after debate of could they do in this league? Could they do this era?
Old heads versus new guys.
Gretzky's there, and he has a smile on his face and is very happy, and he understands very much that records are meant to be broken. That is we are
now. His points record's never getting touched.
No. I mean, if you look at the fact, I mean, I think Ovechkin had to play one more game than him to get the record. Maybe
tied.
It was tied. Okay,
tied, but two more seasons because two seasons were half. One was a protest and one was lockout for COVID.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't blame him for that one. Like, that's not his fault. But if you look at the points record, it's like, oh my god, like, and also, I mean, most of his points are coming from assist. So
if you took away all of Gretzky's goals, he would still be the point leader in NHL history purely because of assists.
I mean, listen, we are new to hockey. And so we watch, there's no one in any other sport that, I mean, you can look at and be like, oh, that guy is that good. Like that guy's that far and away better than everyone else has ever played. Like even
Brady.
Like Pele, what'd you say?
Brady.
Well, I mean, there's another guy coming down the tracks who has a little while. So
he lost.
He lost this year. He lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
he gets one more loss. And he has to win 4 more.
Okay. I was gonna ask if he loses another one, does he then get like? Does he have to win an extra? If he wins an extra one,
well, no. Here's what it is, real quick. He has 2 losses and 3 wins. Brady has 7 and 3.
I won against him as well.
Exactly. If Mahomes gets to 7 and loses, if he gets to 7 and 3, if they're tied, Brady has them. So he has to win 8. Or he has to win 7 and not lose another one. He either has to go 4-0, because then he'll only have 2 losses, better winning percentage. That's how it works. Even if he has the head-to-head, that's how it works. He has the better winning percentage. So he either has to go 4-0, but if he goes 4-1, he's done, or he has to win 5. That's the only ways. But that's just rings. Yeah, that's just rings.
Well, and the thing as well is we have a situation where it can happen. With Gretzky, we've all been like, no, like that's not happening. Like say what you like. There's the Pele record, but that's like way weirdly inflated. I don't know how many people recognize that as like the all times record, just because that's it's questionable. But like you don't look at like a Hank Aaron or like a Babe Ruth and like, wow, this is never gonna be touched again. It's like, well, no, everything will be touched. Every person will be touched at some point. That's a really weird way to say that. Every record will be touched at some point by somebody, except for Gretzky's points record. I mean, his goal record, Ovechkin had to be there for 2 extra seasons. All these games, all this time. I think Gretzky is probably safe for. I mean, if not
very long,
forever, until we get like robo players in there. I think maybe after that, but yeah.
Onto my NHL stuff. The Avalanche are 47-27-4 with 98 points. It's 3rd in the Central Division. Nathan McKinnon is now tied with Nikita Kochevov with 115 points.
Okay.
I butchered that. That wasn't even close.
It's Nikocado Avocado, actually.
Okay, Nikocado Avocado. All Hail Kale is now in 8th with 91 points, and there's 4 games left, so no way he gets to 100. That would have been incredible, though. And my question is, so in baseball, we have the benchmark of 90 to 100 wins as a great season. 100 wins, you're like, holy shit. But 90 to 100, you're like, that's a great season. NBA, it's like 50 to 60, 55 to 60 is like, holy shit, that's a good season. Or that's a great season, not the holy shit one, sorry. In the NFL, it's 12 wins. What is the equivalent in the NHL for points? For like, that's a great season. What's that point number that people are like, wow, write them down? Not necessarily in the record books, but you know, the MLB, if they get to 100 wins, they're like, that's an all-time season for them. Like that 100 wins is huge. Well, I just want to know what the point number is for that for the NHL.
I need to make sure about this. You know who Nikocado Avocado is, right?
Yes, he's the one that
cool.
Gained a lot of weight, lost a lot of weight, and there's a whole troll thing.
I just need to make sure that you weren't like, yes, his name is Nikocado Avocado.
No, I knew exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. I don't know. I don't have, like, the thing is, I wish I had more to talk about this week. I just don't know if I do.
I've got the Astros, and that's it. So we can wrap it up early. It's fine. We'll get close to 40 minutes. That's not bad. Remember, our original goal with this podcast was 45 minutes. When we started it.
This feels like this feels like somewhat of a dead week as well because there are no playoffs. Yeah. National championship's over. We're going to Masters week.
Well, we can talk about that after the Astros real quick.
Noah Khan still sucks as a singer of "Georgia on My Mind."
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, okay. Astros
are 4-6. Jose Altuve is the only player on the entire organization that makes me happy right now. And then let's briefly talk about this. Do you know who won AL and NL Player of the Week?
Yeah, Kyle Bregman and Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman.
Yeah, that fucking hurts. Yeah. They wanted to be out, and they are proving to everyone what they're worth. That sucks. I still think the Astros are going to be okay, but man, does that hurt to see. And it's way too early to tell. Aaron Getty broke his thumb from a line driver in batting practice. That's just a tough break. I want the Spaghetti Man to get back quick. He's one of the few pitchers on our rotation and in our bullpen that I really trust above and beyond. But that sucks. I think it's on his right hand too, so that's brutal. I don't know how long he's out for, but we'll see.
Broken thumb is usually like a 1 to 2 month timeline about. So
I hope it's closer to 1.
Yeah, I think it's to be fair, I think it's closer to like 2 or 3. But yeah, that's not gonna be fun. Listen, I wish nothing but the best for Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman, given all their service to the club. It's also not surprising because they are actually very good players. Say what you want about Alex Bregman. Maybe he, for the past 3 or 4 seasons, it feels like he's been half-seas, where half the season he's one of the worst players on the team, other half he's the best player on the team. Same with Kyle Tucker last season. At some point, was like, oh, this Kyle Tucker may be the best player on this team. And last week I theorized was the Rizzler, the Shirley Temple of this era, which is fine. But it's Jose Altuve, the Shirley Temple of the Astros. He makes us just feel happy when things are bad. And to be fair, that's probably true, just because Jose Altuve probably at this point is the eternal Astro. When you think of the Astros, you think of Jose Altuve. There's Craig Biggio, there's Jeff Bagwell, there's other people whose name Jose Cruz. I don't know why I can't remember any other names. I want to say Morgan Ensberg. About right. I don't know why Morgan Ensberg is like one of my go-to like deep cuts for the Astros.
I thought he was a part of our team a lot longer than he was. I think he was only here for about 4 years.
Yeah, it was not long at all. It was just whenever we were, I'm going to say quote unquote
2005
World
Series,
yeah, quote unquote dominant.
Run, yeah.
The 2005, one day UH will win the national championship, and it'll be like the 2017 for me when I go, oh, it's broken the curse of having to watch a 2005 World Series where they went 4-0, 0-4.
Harness that. Yeah, harness that to get you through this.
To be fair, so not to be dark, there are a lot of old people at the game who. The last time I saw UH in the national championship was 84, but that 83 was really the one that hurt. There was 84, and they might all die without having seen UH win a national championship after multiple times going there and feeling the absolute hurt and pain of it all. Hakeem they did that in front of Hakeem. Hakeem was there, and they did that in front of him. So yeah, no, I don't have to bring everything back to UH losing the national championship, but that does suck a lot. I didn't realize how much it was going to hurt me either. I knew it was going to like feel badly. I did not realize the pain you feel. So I am very sorry if I ever laughed at your pain the day after the national championship.
It's part of sports. All I have left is a quick Masters preview, and that's Scotty Scheffler's the favorite to win, of course, followed by McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau is actually really high up there too. I think it's going to be McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, or Justin Thomas personally, and that's based off my father giving me 3 names to bet on.
Okay.
Of course, I bet on Max Homa, and of course, I bet on Blake Koepka as well. Brooksy.
We're proud homosexuals here. I don't know if you ever heard him tell the story about being with Tiger, and he has to explain what homosexuals means.
A homosexual.
Everyone goes like, "I'm a homosexual," and as he passes by, he probably was like, "What?" But yeah, I really want Rory to win. I don't know why. I've always liked Rory. He always seems like he's the bridesmaid, never the bride in these kinds of situations. I do like Bryson DeChambeau. I think last year, he I don't know, he seemed more likable last year after 3 or 4 years of just being the biggest douchebag on the tour. Even though he's no longer he's on a tour, but just not the PGA one. He lives in a different state now, but that was way funnier in my head. I do want Rory to win, and I will be.
You said that so quickly and so easily. I wasn't sure if you did that on purpose.
No, I definitely did that on purpose.
Okay.
Most of my jokes, most of my wordplay, other than people will never be touched, like I said earlier, they are on purpose. It's like haha, a little bit I can do. I love doing little bits.
I really want Koepka to win it because I mean he's got 3 U.S. Opens, I believe. Yeah. No, I think he's got 2 U.S. Opens and maybe a British or maybe a PGA in there. But I want him to have a career Grand Slam by the end of things. I think he's won 3 majors. Won't swear to it. But of course, Max Homa is the long shot, just because of part of my take bias. Of course, really funny dude. He's like $1 to win $250 or something like that. Just because I put a quick long shot hypothetically in for that, just because I was like, I'm not spending any more. I'm betting the absolute minimum on it.
Also, do you have thoughts on this year's Masters dinner? Because I pulled it up.
It looks pretty good.
It's the sliders, the appetizer sliders, firecracker shrimp, Papa Chef's, which is a funny kind of wordplay there. Meatball and ravioli bites. First course is Texas style chili. I don't know if there are beans in there. I want to make sure there are. Main course is ribeye or blackened redfish. Dessert is a warm chocolate chip cookie skillet cookie.
Sounds so fucking good. The skillet.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I was gonna say I really want to try that. I will say every time I see the Masters menu, Bubba Watson's is one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. It was just like baked chicken, basically. So I do hope he never wins again. I don't even know if he plays anymore, but
he does. He's a very long shot. Koepka has 5 majors. He has 2 U.S. Opens and 3 PGAs. So I want him to add a Masters. I want him to win a British Open as well, just so we can have the career Grand Slam. But that's kind of it for me, Jordan. That's all I really got.
Yeah, I wish I had more this week. It would have been a much longer pod because I feel like if UH won, I'd be much happier. I said before, I was like, I'm going to jump in the river if they win. So I had enough friends in town where I was like, we're going to go out, we're going to have fun, we're going to celebrate this victory. Then everyone just went home. Also took forever to get out of the stadium as well. Like people got home at 4 a.m. And the game ended. I don't know when the game ended, but it ended late. Alamo Dome, bad stadium. IHOP after a national championship loss really is the move, or Denny's. It just kind of reeks of, oh, this is kind of a divorced dad meal. And that's what it feels like whenever you lose a national championship. So yeah, I don't really know what to say other than it sucks, but I really am happy and proud of the Cougars. They had a great season. They worked their ass off to get here. I think Calvin Sampson said something like, this doesn't happen in just March and April. It happens in June. We start in June and we go until now. So I really am happy for the team. Shout out to Coach Alan Bishop for all he does. I feel like no one ever talks about the athletic trainers. I don't know if you saw the UH players' mile times, but it's okay. I think the average was like 420 something, and the slowest was 547 with her for a 6'9", 260 guy. Which, I mean, if you know anything about running a mile, that is hard to do, and a person who's that large, that's hard to do. I think the fastest was like 519. So, I mean, that's the reason they can go into games like that and play until the final moment. So, sucks, but I think I should, I am. It is not. It's not. It's not lost on me how impressive this is and how impressive this month has been from the Cougars and how impressive this season's been. Right now, it feels like a lost season. But it's like the same thing with St. John's. St. John's won the Big East Conference and the Big East tournament. They were dominant. They made it, they were 2 seed, whatever. Came in. It was some questions this year. They were still going to be good, but some questions nonetheless. Came in. They looked good in the beginning, but they didn't look great, if that makes sense. There were still questions, they were like Milos Uzan looked bad. He didn't look great. I mean, as the season progressed, he got much better. There are reasons for that, but won the Big 12 conference, the Big 12 tournament, got all the way to the national championship, facing some really hard teams in that. I think the hardest game we played of the easiest game of the big seeds was Tennessee, which I take some comfort in that, knowing that we may have lost an SEC team, but we did also beat an SEC team. So I think I'll have more apt words come later in the future, but right now it feels bad. So also Buc-ee's, cool place. Thanks for that's I don't know. I stopped there 3 times along the way for multiple reasons. So that's about all I have. Brian, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Auric Polaris across all social medias, and especially twitch.tv/Auric Polaris, AURICPOLARIS. I think I'm streaming Repo on Thursday evening and maybe something on Friday afternoon, and then possibly something Saturday afternoon too. Jordan, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Jordan Stotts on Twitter. I think I tweeted something today. I don't know. Or you can find me at Moonstamp on all social media platforms. I think TikTok's still here. Who knows when it's going away? Who knows if, what anything is happening right now. I'm still I am majorly depressed in some capacity. So I'm going to go watch Rooster Teeth, old Rooster Teeth videos, and feel better. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for, I don't know if you hate listening or you're listening because you think it's funny. Same, brother. I do the same. Thanks so much. Wherever you listen, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever you can do. We'll see you next week.
Rest, sweet, sweet prince of the college basketball season.